Would the Kadupolwattu incident be a huge disaster? I heard the news of extending the curfew this morning on the radio.
There is no way to know the details after Facebook is blocked.
This is a bit of a bad time, Puta. You all have to be careful.
If we haven't done anything wrong, there's no need to be afraid.
What have you seen, children? How many lives were lost in this country? Even today, we do not know whether some people are alive or dead. You have a long life ahead, children. Be careful.
True story, uncle. Me and Nuan also came here to tell some details to people talking about that.
Have you heard of something called the Prevention of Terrorism Act?
I have heard it here and there, but I don't know what exactly it is.
The Prevention of Terrorism Act is an act to make temporary provisions for the prevention of terrorist acts in Sri Lanka. This act is there to prevent illegal activities by individuals or groups related to them in Sri Lanka or outside Sri Lanka.
Terrorism Prevention and Investigate Measures Bill was amended in 2005, as I remember. We were very young at that time. There was also a war in the country that time.
Yes, these Terrorism Prevention and Investigative Measures, TPIMs, are designed to protect the public.
In my sense, the Prevention of Terrorism Act is enacted in 1979.
Yes, uncle is right. It was presented to the parliament, debated and was first passed at the time as a temporary measure in one day. According to that, it allowed authorities to make warrantless arrests for unspecified illegal activities. Not only that, there was a possibility that the suspect could be detained for up to 18 months without being brought to court.
As far as I remember, the Prevention of Terrorism Act was passed in 1979.
Yes, according to these statistics, most of the people are tortured while in custody. It is on the confessions given during this torture that it is decided whether they will be guilty or not.
I have heard many suspects have been held in remand awaiting trial for many years.
No matter how many assurances the Sri Lankan government has given that the Prevention of Terrorism Act will be reformed in accordance with international law and standards, so far there has not been enough reform.
The Prevention of Terrorism Act is still used today as a tool to arbitrarily arrest and detain people.
It is a violation of fair trial rights.
That act was first passed in 1979 to suppress different groups that try to change the government.
Yes, in January 2021, the government of Sri Lanka gazetted 6 amendments to the Prevention of Terrorism Act.
These amendments did not erase the previously mentioned gaps though. Violation of human rights of people detained under the law is still the case.
Even after the amendments as per this act, detainees can be held for up to 18 months without charge. Defense Minister can issue arbitrary orders restricting freedom of expression and association without right of appeal in court. Confessions contain special rules of evidence that make confessions admissible in court. The burden is placed on a suspect to prove to the court that a statement was made under coercion. Because the provisions of the bail procedure are unclear, some detainees are not even granted bail.
Then in 2021, some kind of reforms were made, right?
Yes, ICCPR, without torture, inhumane or degrading treatment, Sri Lanka is bound to protect the rights shown in the convention. According to that, the government of Sri Lanka has agreed to grant citizens of Sri Lanka the right to liberty and security, the right to trial without undue delay, freedom of expression, the right to peaceful assembly, and freedom of association.
Not only that, the Constitution of Sri Lanka obliges Sri Lankans to be protected from torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment and punishment. The most important thing is that no one can be arbitrarily arrested or detained or punished according to it. According to this act, you can be arrested without presenting a warrant.
I did not know this about the Terrorism Act.
That's what we are saying. According to this act, the reason for the arrest is not even told to the suspects. Not only that, the accused and their families are not even allowed to go through the basic security measures, notifying the place of detention of those arrested. Even things like getting legal representation and presenting to a judge immediately do not happen.
Not allowing the assistance of a lawyer is quite serious.
Children, in the 1980s, Sri Lanka agreed to an international convention on civil and political rights, isn't it?
How many mothers are still waiting for their children to come home? Imagine if something like that happened to us who are talking about this right now.
We are a peaceful country now, right?
Let's ask ourselves if we are truly living in a free country.